Now Sony literally looks like they could be in trouble, but the PlayStation fans, the ponies all over the world are ignoring what is going on right now in Sony. Instead, they are trying to forget everything by playing games like this. What you just watched there was the PlayStation exclusive Quantum Era. Now Sony fans are down so bad that they are even coming out and declaring their hatred for Xbox and Xbox fans. Take a look at this. Yes, we are seeing the Sony band and the Sony ponies. They have gathered together to discuss their hatred for Xbox. So today what we are going to talk about is that someone needs to highlight all of what Sony is doing with the studios that they acquired. Let's talk about how there is a mass refund happening for Destiny 2 and how there is another studio that might be in turmoil because of layoffs. Let's get it!
This is a sickness!
Let's get it! I think there's enough evidence now to show that Microsoft knows what they are doing. 2023 has revealed that to us. However, Sony fans have been using a number of talking points that they typically use to, take jabs at Microsoft fans. It is known as the Pony Starter Pack. Xbox has no games. Xbox users don't buy games. Xbox is useless and you should just have a PC. The Xbox can manage their studios. Aha, that one. Guys, you see what they said there? That is what Pony said. It just so happened that it's not Xbox that can manage studios. It is Sony. Cannot manage studios because the type of damning information we have been getting for these past few days, it is unheard of. I and all didn't want to believe it. Take a look at these information. Do you all remember when Jim Ryan had the gall to say he could do way more with Bungie than with Activision and Xbox could do with Activision? Well, he did more. He reduced the revenue targets of Bungie. It says Destiny 2 is missing Bungie's annual revenue targets by nearly 50%, leading to layoffs of more than around 100 developers. That includes some who was around for 20 years. Look at that. This is crazy. It continues. Sony's Bungie game unit cut 8% of staff after Destiny play wilted. Sales at studio were running 45% below projections for the year. Layoffs are part of a bigger revamp of Sony PlayStation unit. Look at that. So since Sony acquired Bungie, we are seeing that they took a nosedive, more than 45% nosedives. So ponies, are you sure it's Microsoft that can't manage their studios? So what is the repercussions of Sony making these cuts, Bungie's making these cuts? Well, it appears that fans all over the world are refunding Destiny 2 because they do not approve of what the studio is doing. Look at this. The final shape faces pre-order cancellation as Bungie layoffs upset Destiny 2 players. So what is the final shape? So if you don't play Destiny, the final shape is basically the expansion. So fans are upset that they are cutting innocent devs just because targets was not made. On the Destiny the game subreddit, fans are boycotting the final space expansion, expressing their collective frustration and disappointment over Bungie's recent layoffs and the reported underperforming Destiny 2. Under the same thread, another Reddit user wrote, "Yeah, I'm refunding mine. I have over 3,000 hours in Destiny. It's my favorite game by far, but this broke me. My heart goes out to every single person who lost their job. And then we have evidence of them canceling and getting refunds for Destiny 2 expansion. So fans are upset. It's a pity that, you know, the most vocal minority, these ponies, have nothing to say about this. They rather talk about Xbox selling, PlayStation selling 9 to 1 in one store, than Xbox. Yeah, they rather talk about Xbox raising prices in Brazil. Shame on you, pony fans, for not saying nothing about this. In a perfect world, this would be the end of the Sony bad news for this evening. However, we know that this world is far from perfect, because we have two other studios that are reporting layoffs.
Damn!
Now this one is fresh off the press. Insomniac Games reportedly faced layoffs along with other PlayStation devs. Now if this is true, this is crazy. What is going on in Sony? It is madness. But I'm not going to go into Insomniac Games. Let's go into the next studio, the next Sony PlayStation studio that is going through layoffs, and that is Firesprite. Yes, Firesprite. So Essential Sports had the report. Listen on as what they had to say.
Amidst layoffs at Bungie, another PlayStation studio reportedly in troubled waters. Destiny 2 developer is reportedly going through hard times. This has led them to lay off a bunch of their staff. Some of them were their oldest employees. Fans do not love the fact, even one bit, that the studio they love so much would have to see such low times. But they would be even more disappointed knowing that yet another PlayStation first-party studio would soon go through something similar. This one is yet again a studio that has been working in the background on a number of games. Most of them were VR titles. Reportedly, the newly acquired studio named Firesprite is the one going through a crisis. What would Sony do this time? After their acquisition, Firesprite did not make any big-budget titles, but they worked with some of the larger studios to make some of the most unique games. This studio had its hands in VR games like the Playroom VR, Air Force Special Ops, Nightfall, and Horizon Call of the Mountain. Games that it developed completely on its own were Air Force Special Ops, Nightfall, and The Persistence. But it has been suggested by a post on X that all is not right at Firesprite. The post says that ever since Sony PlayStation took over, the management at Firesprite has been terrible. It also suggests that over 100 employees have been laid off since the acquisition by Sony. Sony has even implemented a hiring pause and has even caused the employees to burn out somehow. The founders of Firesprite have already jumped ship, leaving behind understaffed and poorly managed projects. This has caused the production to be chaotic, which has caused a number of games to enter development hell. Appears this small studio is in deep trouble. And this is not the kind of studio that would be able to recover after so many losses. Hence, it would be safe to say that Sony might end up doing away with it. Let's see where it goes. Bungie has lost a lot since the acquisition too. It is also being suggested that, while Firesprite might be at the losing end of this game, it does not mean Bungie is doing any better. Ever since PlayStation took over, they have laid off at least 8% of their staff, and their Destiny 2 revenue targets have been missed by at least 45%.
So one of the devs from Firesprite basically went on Glassdoor and left a review while working at Firesprite and Sony. He said he wouldn't recommend working there. He wouldn't recommend the CEO or the business outlook. In addition to that, he said the pros are that, you know, you get parental leaves, you can get work from home, remote work. But the cons is the Sony acquisition has negatively impacted, well, the studio. Now, this is crazy. It's very clear. We have enough evidence to show that Sony is not managing these studios well. So, you know, may this be a lesson to you, Sony fans, before you pelt, stones at someone's house. Make sure that your house is not glass. This is madness. This is craziness. But let me hear what you think about all of this news happening with Sony. Whole week, the entire week, Sony has been getting the stuffing beat out of them with these news. This is very bad PR on Sony's part. Now, would the general public care about all these news? No, because The general public, which is the casuals, are not really in tune with these news. But for those vocal few, you guys need to say something. This is the platform that you back, so at least say something about it. But let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Later.